Hey, what's good, everybody? So this one, Crow's over here going crazy. Um, okay. So real quick, okay, so this one's gonna be a little. I wasn't sure if I wanted to make this one before Valentine's Day because I don't want to freak anyone out, right, and ruin their plans of going out and doing what they gotta do. But so I'm gonna make this a part 1 and 2. It's gonna be deal with like spiritual things I've encountered, right? Um, so it is gonna be explicit just for the sake of telling the story. So I'm gonna try not to cuss, but it's just it's easier to explain, right? If I cuss. So one situation I had when I was probably so the whole purpose is just to show, right? Like I have like from in my life I have seen like the entities and this and that, both good and bad. So I could I could make I'll make videos about the good things I've seen and the bad ones, right? Or negative, however you want to call it. Some people don't believe in good and bad when it gets to a spiritual thing. So negative things, right? Malicious, like entities or something that just have this negative thing to them, right? And so one experience I had was, I was probably early 20s. My brother, he asked me to go like on a be for like a date, right? He's gonna take out this girl, and then she had her friend with her. So he was like, hey, you know, uh, I had okay luck with the lady. So he was like, I know they're gonna like you, blah blah. All right, fine. So I went with him, and so we go. I meet this girl. He had like a truck, so he was sitting in the front. I was sitting in the back with that girl. We go out, and we stop at a liquor store, right? She gets a little bottle with like one of those 5% little kind of wine cooler type things. I get some beer, and so what happens is, then whatever, we're kicking it. We're in the back. She's drinking her little thing. I'm drinking my thing. Whatever. Then we start like hooking up, right? After that, she kind of starts getting a little whatever. So we stop, I think, somewhere to probably get some more stuff, or who knows why we stop. Maybe looking for a place to go. And I think, I asked my brother, if he had any condoms, and he says, I was like, oh, well, can we stop at he didn't have any, so I was like, can we stop at the liquor store so I could get some condoms or whatever. He's like, nah, don't do it with her. I was like, dude, she's not, like, I guess he started noticing she was kind of acting a certain way, so he thought she was drunk or something. I was like, dude, she drank like this. She's not drunk, trust me. I was like, she drank this little thing, you know what I mean? And so, I had just drank like a little thing, and that was it. But so then out of nowhere, whatever, so he didn't get, so I was like, fine, I won't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I was kind of upset about it because I was like, in my head, I was thinking, I bet you do it, like, or something. But I was like, man, so fine, right? And it takes a lot, right? Because especially when you're in your early 20s, your hormones are raging and this and that. So I was like, fine. And then but she, this girl. So then we're in the back. She just keeps getting real aggressive, and to the point where it started sounding like The Exorcist, right? She's pulling me close. I'm like, I can't, and then she starts doing like the thing, like the F me, like The Exorcist. It started getting kind of freaky like that, right? Where I'm like, whoa, like she's getting really aggressive, pulling me. She's starting to bite me harder and harder. And she was saying like, the wow, she was like, fuck me. And I was like, what the? Like, it kind of started like, it was a little creepy even, and then she's biting me. And then eventually she bites me so freaking hard. It looked like Mike Tyson had hit me. I was like, what the hell's wrong? Like, it started really like creeping me out. She bit me. My lips ended up swallowing like 6. She bit me on my head. I had like 2 bites on my head, and this where she left the teeth. She the blood. You could see the blood. She bit me. They separate me from her, and they put me in the front because they're like, what the? I was like, dude, she won't leave me alone. Like, she was all like, like she kept trying to get me. And they're like, he's like that. So he pulls over. They sit me in the front, and then her friend goes in the back with her. And then this girl keeps trying to go over the seat and grab. We're driving. She just keeps trying to get me. And they're like, what the hell? They're like her friends pushing her back, like, hey. And then so she even bites her friend, you know. She even bites her. She's like, what the hell? Her friend gets really mad. And so then it's just, you know, it's getting real crazy, you know. So we're all together. I mean, this was going on for like the whole drive, because then we had to go take them back. So, I mean, we were together with them probably for like about 2 hours or something. This is going on. She was like they couldn't restrain her. Like, no, you know, it was just us. And so eventually, you know, we dropped them off because it was just too much. It was real crazy. I'm telling you, like, if you would see, like, the way my lips looked, and like she was biting me, like attacking me, right? And she was telling me that. It sounded like The Exorcist, like, F me, this and that. Like, whoa. I couldn't keep robbing me. That's why they had to change me to the front. So we finally dropped them off. And the friend ended up telling, because my brother kept seeing this girl. So after, she tells my brother that as soon as we dropped them off, this girl snapped out of it. She was like, what happened? Like, why'd they... And then she's like, what? Like, are you kidding me? And she stopped talking to her. They had been friends for at least 3 years or something. And she stopped talking to her instant because she was like, she didn't believe it. Like, she's like, are you playing? Like, dude, you know what you, like, everything that just happened, you're like gonna act like you just woke up, like, snap. And so, you know, it's, you know, that ended up happening a lot more later, you know, in life. And I understood, like, but even at that moment, I knew something was off, right? And the reason is, you know, that's a way in, right? Like, when a malicious spirit will use someone, especially if someone's really doesn't have that protection, right? They haven't grown up practicing spirituality to be protected, or they have that kind of, you know, ignorance to the spirit world. They use them, right? Because in my life, there was a lot of times that they even used family. It was weird, you know. It was like, sometimes they pick days like that, even though you may not follow, like, you know, I don't follow the religions, right? But even something huge happened to me once, like on Easter, and it was like, I was all happy, and you know, I don't even celebrate it, but I went with my family, and something happened. I was like, wow, like, you know, I got into this huge argument where I just left. I was like, you know what? And it didn't make sense to me. I was like, well, everyone was good. This person they started drinking and started insulting me. Like, it was meaningless. It was, and I just left. I was like, but I knew. I didn't let it get to me. It did eventually, because, you know, but you understand, it was so surreal where it just seems weird, right? And then, you know, now in hindsight, like, you know, people now, you know, back then there was no IG or TikTok for you to see, like, you know, where people will post little memes that say spirits. That's why it's called spirits. Now I've even driven by liquor stores that instead of, you know, it'll say spirits instead of beer or whatever. So people say, like, you know, when you're drinking all that stuff, you're inviting spirits in. And so I've seen that. You know, I don't know if with that little bit of alcohol, that was their little gateway in to, you know, and to try to get to me, because, you know, it happened, you know, like I said, I'm gonna break it into 2 parts. That's gonna be the first story, you know. That one was a very aggressive, it was very creepy, right? If you think about it, had I been alone with this female, who knows what else could have happened, right? Had I not had witnesses that saw that she was attacking me, this and that, biting me, you know, everything, who knows, right? Like, what this spirit or whatever would have tried to do. I felt bad because, you know, it was like, for me, I felt like I knew what was going on, but, you know, I wasn't gonna back then, no one really knew my spiritual connection to that level, right? Like, my brother wouldn't have understood. You know, I'm sure, I don't know if this girl would have understood, but it was just crazy, right? So that was a heavy one, you know. That was a heavy one. You know, especially that, right? That when we dropped them off, it was like she just snapped out of it. And so, okay, I don't want to, just that, right? They'll use things to connect with you. So that's why you got to protect your energy. So, it's real important. Like, and you'll feel it, right? Sometimes your intuition will feel it. Sometimes it ain't even that serious. It ain't that they have a bad spirit attached to them. It could just be that the universe is caring about you that much that they're trying to look out for you. And they'll show you red flags. And when you don't listen, sure enough, this person will be very toxic to you, right? they're just not matching your vibration. But since you lowered yourself, you're gonna, it's like the universe will be like, all right, we try to warn you. And so I'll attach this story to this one. Like, there was a girl I was dealing with once, and I would get weird feelings. Like, it's almost like we had hooked up and this and that, but somehow the universe was already showing. Maybe she was already, because that's what I thought after. Maybe this girl was still, like, you know, she was already hooking up with other people. So maybe she didn't originally have this bad spirit, but somewhere in between she made a choice. She was, you know, hooking up with other people and bringing that. And then, you know, she was probably going to bring it to me. Because I remember it was to the point where I was going to go to her house one day. And I started having this weird feeling like I'm not supposed to. And so I started driving anyways. I was, you know, like I said, hormones, right? At that age. Like, I started driving anyways. And on my way there, I pray. And I'm like, okay, fine. It was already nighttime, right? But like, if I'm not meant to go, turn off 5 lights. I said 5 out of all the numbers, right? 5 street lights. I'm driving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was like, no way. It's impossible. But they did it, right? They did it. I still show up to her house. Even that, right? After they did exactly as I asked, I still showed up to this girl's house. Because I was like, nah, it's impossible. I didn't just see what I saw. And, you know, even though like they couldn't have done any clearer, like a slap in the head. All right, you want us to turn off 5 lights? Boom, 5 lights. Exactly. Boom, 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 boom. I was like, what? And then, so I get to her house. Right as I'm pulling up to her house, she calls me. She's like, hey, where you at? And I was like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to end up going. And she got real mad. You know, you always do that to me, this and that and this. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, I got it. And then she's like, and I just hang up. And all she had to do was look outside, and she would have saw me in front of her house. But I do the U-turn, and I just take off, right? And it was like 30, 40-minute drive. So, but that happened before. So I think something had tried to warn me with her before, and I wasn't listening. So that time, that was probably one of the last times, or maybe it happened after again, but they were just trying to tell me, this is not for you. This one is not for you. And sure enough, I think, you know what, I kept talking to her, and then yeah, it became just toxic until finally we ended up getting into an argument, and that, you know, and that was it. But they were trying to warn me from the beginning, right? Like, you guys aren't this one, no. You know, and that's where, you know, they'll look after. That's why it's worth it, the spiritual walk. That's why I'm gonna try to teach about spiritual things, because like, once they see you trying to do, you know, your duty, help people, this and that, then it's like, you know, they look after you like a big brother or a dad, or, you know, whatever, the creator, the spirit world. It's kind of like that, like, you know, or that's what I feel. That's just my idea, right? Obviously, I don't know everything, right? But you know, that's kind of how it happened. So that was one story, right? I'm gonna cut it right here, and then I'll make a part 2. So hopefully you guys got something out of that, just to teach you that there is, you know, protect your energy. Not everyone's gonna be a bad spirit and like that, all crazy. But if you do see red flags, I would say listen to them. You know, if your gut tells you, you know, something, then try not to ignore it, especially in these times. You know, over the years, more people are supposedly having woken up or whatever, even though I know it's just people throw around that very lightly, like, oh, I'm woke, but I have seen people evolving or wanting to at least learn spiritually. So, you know, just, yeah, that's my little quick pre-Valentine's Day advice. Just be careful who you connect your energy with, right? Unless you're in that same energy, then it doesn't matter, because you're in that, right? Like, you're inviting spirits in all day long, that you know, and eventually you'll learn what you have to learn, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So okay, that's it for part 1. Let me start part 2.